We don't have autofocus.
We have Tammy focus. Similar to auto, but
And do you guys have that CTD going?
Negative.
If you could, that'd be great.
no CTD? We shut it off because it was going to suck in dirt or what?
No, because
I haven't started it yet.
Shut it off at the bottom.
Yeah, it's a good
they've
idea.
been shutting it off at the bottom because it's ground faulting a little.
We can turn it on again if you like.
Please.
ONC CTD engaged.
All right. I'll let you catch up a little bit.
Roger. Might have to pitch a weight.
To get to 10.
It's full jam there. The manip turned off?
Yep.
There's a nice jelly going through the camera.
We're heavy. I've not been able to convince the lead that I need to ballast later. No autofocus on the Zeus. I'm thinking about the mini Zeus then that has the auto focus. You just have auto iris, right?
Correct. We don't really use auto anything very often.
On some of the other cruises, they have intern focus and intern iris. But
Yeah. Not so much on this one, unfortunately.
it's about as good as the autos do as well. I don't know. I say that Ed's been getting some really good interns from that. What was the school Sarah went to?
I don't know, Sarah.
Sarah, and he's gotten like,
Oh, the wildlife photography?
yeah, the wildlife photography degrees.
Yeah, I just happen to be a biologist that also has a
Got
video
lost.
degree. So
Yeah.
that also has the video degree. I went the opposite.
Well, you're one step ahead of me for setting the focus pulling. What do you think?
Sorry about that, guys. I hit the wrong mute button before I coughed.
Are we in far enough, Tammy, or what do you think?
Well, I think if we get
Defer
too
to
far, if we get too far, things go too fast to really sit there. If you're trying to like this, to me seems too close.
Okay.
I think you have video-induced focus oscillation.
I think.
You got brain fog too from. So
He usually
do
tries to
realize
keep the lasers in the middle of the screen, so that's what I'm trying to do.
You realize what I'm doing here is basically transferring any blame if it's not perfect onto you from Fabio.
That's fine. I can take.
No, I just want to do the best job, and I don't got any clues on what we want.
If you focus on the lasers, some particles will be in focus and some won't, depending on how far they are from the vehicle.
I can handle taking all the blame. That's fine.
Tammy told me.
Solid 8.3 meters a minute.
Yeah, I think we should pitch the weight. We did discuss that coming up. He went and ballasted it. I don't know what it say on that sheet. 20 something, 30 something. Super.
Yeah, it was heavy because they had the big thing on the porch. But we too have the big thing on the porch.
All right.
Should have brought down some of ONC's weights.
We got plenty to make it 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. They're all in San Pedro, aren't they?
Yeah. We're only doing this for the first 1,000, right?
Correct.
We'll see what they end up doing. I knew a guy who flew in the Hawaii sanctuaries a bunch, and they did steel shot for their weight because the weight plates.
Bag.
Yeah, because the weight plates take too long to degrade.
Can I confirm the speed that you're
Let's
currently going
we
at?
should pitch it while
We're
we're
about
still
8 meters a minute. That
Okay.
is as fast as we can go.
We
Okay,
should pitch
perfect.
it while we're
Thank you.
closer to the seabed, south of all the or south of all the instruments, right?
Yeah. Do you know where Nico went?
No.
Probably just food or something.
Gotcha. Well, Steve, here's the situation. Our max speed coming up is 8 meters a minute.
Perfect.
So
For the vertical transect.
yeah, for the vertical transect. But after that, we're still 8 meters a minute unless we pitch some plates. And so the question is, we're currently south of all this stuff, but it's better to do it sooner than later. So if you guys are comfortable with us pitching plates here, then we can
Okay,
do
what
that.
else is there? There's some corks down there that are nearby. I think they're southeast. I don't know whether a plate could damage a cork, but they're southwest, I mean.
We can also step the ship south some just to get farther away from things.
That would be my suggestion, is to slowly move, I guess, southeast. There's a line of corks about 200 meters away, space about 200 meters away from 1026. And
all right, so now if you want to do a
lined
ship move to the southeast.
and
Kim, ship move southeast.
And the only reason you're saying ditch them now is because you figure they'll float off into another direction?
Well, yeah, they're more likely to go straight down the less distance they have to go straight down.
But they're probably going to be pretty good straight down.
10% of water depth. Rule of thumb. Throwing stuff over.
So like right now we're at 90 meters, so rule of thumb, we should be totally fine.
That's what they make us move the vessel when we're doing crane lifts over the...
Sure.
At this rate, you're going to have to do a 100-meter move.
I'm just going to take a quick look at what we have for mapping here. Do our due diligence.
We are going to have to interrupt the video transect to do the grab though too. Maybe. What do we have? What have we got?
I think that's okay. We just...
That one. I can do that one.
I think there's only one on there.
And that's the one we're doing.
Tammy, can you make note how we set the video and then we can just go right back to it? Or
Oh, we're going to try and do it without...
Cables in the frickin' way.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge.
Maybe you get the rope around first. I don't know.
So you figure you're about 90 meters south? Or did you say 90 meters above? I didn't get.
from the site. We're about 80 meters south where we left the seabed.
So basically the cable that goes to the node also heads south at southeast, and the line of, if I recall correctly, that not on the map, line of corked holes are kind of like southwest in a line. So if we went more south, just straight south, then I think we'll clear both of those. So maybe another 100 meters.
Okay.
Is that a ship? That's likely a ship move, isn't it?
You want to change her bearing to south?
And then we can drop.
Roger.
I'm quite certain Ian would say just drop them right now, but I'm a little more.
Yeah, we're down to 6 meters a minute now. That's because the manipulator's on now.
Yeah, let me slow this down.
Yeah, so you're pretty heavy, eh?
Yeah, that's we're full vertical up there, and we're only getting 6 meters a minute.
So loggers, could you make a note that what's happening here and why the visual transect is interrupted so it's easy for people who are looking at it?
We good? We good?
Sorry, just to
5
clarify,
meters a minute.
it's interrupted because we're waiting on the...
Oh, we're still going up as fast at 5 meters a minute, which is the fastest we can do at the moment.
No, I'm just saying that there's, things moving around in front of the camera and stuff like that. So,
Gotcha.
So someone who's looking at it say, what?
All right, Steve,
gotcha.
your call. We've got the weight. It's out. We can drop it at any moment.
How far back from the, Kim? So you know what this looks like down there. Can we go back a little bit more?
Well, for every time we go back, we're getting higher, right?
Yeah, but I'm not worried. I know that it'll go straight down. My experience, anyway.
Oh, perfect, Nico. This
They
way
don't
it
like
can go
my
on
answer.
him. Oh, we can drop it. I can hold it for the next entire way up if we want.
Go
at
back.
5 meters a minute.
Nico, here's the story. We need to drop weight.
So I'm asking 100.
Sorry,
I'll wait
what
till
was
you
that?
get
Can
on
you
there.
repeat?
Steve, you tell him what's up.
Basically, we're going at 6 meters per minute, which is slower than even we want for the vertical transect.
Yeah.
And we want to get rid of some weight. And we're about 70 meters back from the instrument platform south. There are corks on our right side, and then there's the cable on our left side. So I suggested we go back another 100 meters and drop. And that the concern is that if higher we go, it could float off.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. So we're 70 meters south of the IP right now?
Yep. I thought that was a little close. The cable's there, and there's this cork about 200 meters south.
Is that another weight?
Southwest of the other cork. I just thought those are the two things we could hit.
Okay, well, I think as long as we're another 20 meters south, we're good.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to go 100 or anything.
Well, yep.
All right, so Kim will let you know when that's done, and then you'll tell me, and I'll drop the weight.
We're
Okay.
only 100 meters off the deck.
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah. So if we're... What
So
cable
100
are
meters up.
you seeing? If we're straight south back,
100 meters up, we only need to be 10 meters away from the...
The cables and node sort of comes down this way, and then it goes off.
If you use the 10% rule, if we're 10 meters away from anything, we're good.
Okay.
Are you talking about the backbone cable?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, we're planning to replace it anyway, but it'd be kind of...
oh, so we're not directly south of the IP. Is that what you're saying? We're over the...
I don't know where we are. I don't have the... I'm just taking the word of... Maybe I'll get that up.
We're currently 70 meters, almost directly south of the auxiliary platform.
At 10% of water depth, it has to go more than a 5-degree angle to go out of the 10% cone.
Yeah, we're not worried about
according to Sakatoa.
The only thing we're worried about is dropping on this cable, and it's armored.
But aren't these slicers? I don't know what the weight is either. Doesn't matter. You can drop it here if you want. Like I said before, Ian would drop it here. I would go back. Nico would do something else.
Well, who's watch lead?
Nico.
I'm
right.
just looking at your map right here now. Yeah,
No pressure.
You're fine to drop it where you are.
Okay. Dropped.
No, wait.
You got to take a survey mark there too. The weight dropped here.
Yeah, I might grab those coordinates from you as well.
Do we want to try for that other one? Okay, so we are going to interrupt the visual transect to get that other weight, if we can. That's going to be a challenge.
Do you want this ROV on deck before noon?
Oh, yeah, that's true, too.
Yeah, drop the weight.
Right now, it would be 300.
I think you guys can probably hold your video settings, and I'm just going to use the...
I'm moving with you
okay.
there. There's your reference.
I hate this.
Come around to drunken bubble angle.
Yeah, and just make sure I'm not rubbing up against the seismometer as well.
Tammy, can you zoom out for me?
And seismometer.
I can't guarantee I can get back exactly to the same zoom.
I think you can get there. You're almost there. You'll have to.
That's
You'll have to yaw all the way left. You might be able to get it right there on the hose.
Nope, that's not. I'm like 6 inches above it still. Look at the
happening. Oh yeah, you're light years away.
Yeah.
Okay.
light years
Is
away.
what it is.
Thanks, Kim. That helps a lot.
Okay, you done?
Yeah, all done.
All right, video transect interrupt complete.
Video transect resume.
And hydraulics off on the arm.
Roger.
Just,
Oh yeah, that helped a lot. We're back up to 8 meters a minute.
it adds up over
Just kill me
time.
now. Ooh, 9 meters a minute. Almost up to our rated video transect speed.
Yeah, well, we have a delta of 25. It's not like I might be pulling you some.
What's that?
I have a delta of 25. It's not like I might be
You
pulling
can,
you some.
You can have her hold position there, Kim.
Bridge, nav. please cancel step and hold position.
Oh gosh. I just looked at the calculated time to surface.
I was too. Better update the board.
Yeah.
Should be like
it'd be good to
hours.
update it before breakfast.
Is this
Let's
the
see.
fastest you can go?
At the
10 meters
moment,
a minute. You guys are going to be impressed because you're going to get a video transect all the way to the surface.
Yep. Might as well.
Might as well take it while you can get it, Steve.
This is just to make up for the interruptions we had, right?
Yeah.
No, we skipped the horizontal transects, and so now we're doing the 500-meter horizontal
so that's
transects
4 hours approximately to the surface.
in a very random direction of vertical.
230 divided by 60 is, who's faster? Siri?
Or the internet.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was right. 4 hours. That's my rough approximation.
Yeah, so
So we'll get Ollie, put him in the chair.
Tim, anyone want to fly?
Come on, this is important. This is a vertical transect.
It
We want
is.
our top pilot on there.
All right, well, you have our watch lead sitting here. He volunteered to sit for the whole transect, I
Yeah,
heard.
come on, Nico. And you should fly it then, Steve.
And
We do need to update the board, though.
So you
I'll
just
go
sit there
update the
and
board.
you sit in that seat instead of this seat?
Pretty much, yep.
You figured out what time
Okay,
that's going to be?
I'm flying. I'm just doing it from here. I think everybody's flying right now.
Yeah.
You got
Actually,
the pedal to the metal.
Siri's flying.
But he has the most comfortable chair.
Does he? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm on. 'Cause the bottoms aren't that good on these chairs.
That'll be perfect. We'll have time for post-dive checks and we'll be out. Ooh, I'm gonna.
He ain't heavy. He's my broadband seismometer.
We have one
No singing.
commenter saying that we're still moving faster than we could walk up the stairs.
How do they
Probably.
know how quickly?
Yeah,
they
I haven't
walk
used
up
that
the
one.
stairs?
What's your speed walking up the stairs? Like 1 mile an hour?
I'm sure there's an ISO
we
standard
sprinting?
for that somewhere.
I'm sure there is.
Anyone who's tried the Stairmaster can tell you.
What's your speed going down the stairs? That's the question.
Depends on how you get down.
Yeah.
Banister.
Terminal velocity.
The tuck and roll technique.
So are fish able to see this laser? If they get close enough, you said it goes for 10 meters.
I'm not believing that whole 10-meter mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, it's variable all over the place, depending on where you're.
Yeah, that's what we were
Where you're
saying yesterday. It really depends on what the turbidity of the water, where you're at, how deep you are.
I mean, it's a green laser, so green goes farther than red, for instance.
I'm pretty convinced those lasers are still hitting the seabed.
I don't know. I think there's enough stuff in the water here that they might not.
Oh, no, you can measure with this guy too. I gotta learn something new every day.
So we had a question earlier asking, what is the scariest marine animal that we can think of? And they had the viewer led with their scariest one is the bobbit worm, which if anybody has not watched video of the bobbit worm, you absolutely have to. It's rather terrifying. Although the one thing that I've always been scared of is eels. For some reason, their face and manner of swimming has always creeped me out. What are some other scariest animals for you guys?
Oh, that's easy for me. Siphonophore, by far the scariest.
Because it looks like a line in the water and you go,
Yeah.
oh my God. I don't know about scary, but for creepy, I don't think you can beat hagfish.
Yeah.
Hagfish too, that like tie themselves into knots and then they do all kinds of, and they smell bad.
And the slime.
Yeah.
I remember watching from the ROV the surface of, I don't even remember what the victim was, creature. The hagfish was inside and just tugging the, like eating the creature from the inside out. So you could see the skin tug as he's pulling from inside. I was
Like,
oh.
it wormed itself inside the body of the animal it was eating? Yeah.
It's just so creepy.
Looking at an article from 2017 where a truck carrying hagfish overturned on the highway and all the cars are just covered in hagfish slime.
Yeah, that happened in Oregon, right?
Yeah,
Right down by Newport. Some great pictures of a state trooper just covered in hagfish slime, and his car was covered.
Went inside the back truck, the back seat too, like it just poured in. Yeah.
I don't know if it was inside the car. The picture I saw was all over the...
On one of the cars. I think there's two different cars.
Hagfish car accident?
Yeah.
Yep, classic blue water story.
The thing that instantly occurs to me is, why is anybody going anywhere with a truckload of hagfish?
Yeah, that's its own
delicacy. There's people that eat hagfish.
I'd try it, not gonna lie.
So Josh had updated the board to 9:30, and I went down and updated it to 10.
To 10?
Yeah.
Roger. Josh has already been up.
Yeah, Josh is up. He's like, well, you know, I figured after the vertical transect, you'd be doing 15 meters a minute. So I said no.
Not so much.
The story says that a couple who were tourists from Norway were also involved in the hagfish accident. So imagine you're on your vacation and then a truckload of hagfish.
There's also, if you look at the picture of the, I think it's the white car, somebody obviously got out of the car and then slipped down in the slime, and you can see the tracks of the person trying to get out. And it's just like, this is all sorts of, oh no.
I think it was for ONC. We set down a crab pot, and they were hoping to catch crabs in it, and they caught a whole bunch of hagfish. And we put it in the starboard bio box and brought it up, and it was solid slime. There was no more water in that bio box when they opened it. There's a picture of an SCF just like elbows deep, slime everywhere. Massive grin on their face.
Yeah.
I can see doing that once.
The C is for chaos.
Yeah. We were looking at using hagfish slime for a lubricant for a geotechnical drill. So taking core samples. That's biodegradable.
And pretty easy to make. You just need a hagfish.
And slimy.
Just put a hagfish in a bucket and you get as much slime as you need.
I feel the challenging part is getting the hagfish into the bucket.
Yeah.
Well, apparently all you need is a crab trap.
Yeah.
Throw in food. Stand back.
We actually, it was the Mediterranean they wanted to catch. The biologist wanted to get a sample of some of the crabs, and using some milk crates that food had been delivered in, we designed a crab trap and successfully got a couple of crabs with it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Some zip ties to 2 milk crates. Although I think they only stayed in because of lack of desire to escape. We recovered and one was just crawling on the front porch at that point.
They cook hagfish in Korea, and it honestly doesn't look all that bad once it's
Once you get rid of the slime?
Yeah.
Was it like coconut crabs where you're supposed to feed them lettuce for a couple of days before you eat them? You know, you have to like get the slime out of the hagfish first.
I don't know how they get rid of the slime. I can look into that.
Yeah, those two kind of weird me out, but I think they're pinned.
Yeah, they haven't gone anywhere. As long as we keep flying up.
Just wait till we get to the surface.
It could be challenging during recovery. I might have to secure them in one of the thrusters.
I'll let you do that one. I'll be on deck. I got my boots on. I'm ready to go.
I do not have my boots on.
Ah, see.
I guess I need to go
Planned
get
it.
them on.
Apparently the slime is part of the gastronomic appeal, so they keep it.
The gastronomic appeal?
That's what this article says.
I'll pass.
Kim, what are hagfish on the menu in Japan? They're not. It's not hagfish.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing them.
It's not eel. Or maybe it's eel.
Oh yeah.
It's
No,
definitely
because
not-
there's
not
a huge market for the freshwater eel, so I doubt it's eel.
There's a lot of eel on the menu in Japan, like everywhere you go.
Yeah, but that's usually the freshwater, I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I think that's what Dan was trying to conjure up. What is it's called? I don't remember.
So those of you watching from home or work, wherever you are, now's a great time to ask those questions because we've got lots of time just to slowly move up. One question we've just gotten
6:30.
Living fossils, so species that don't change over long periods of time. What are some of the coolest living fossils that we've seen or encountered?
Oh, that's mine.
It's always the vampire squid whenever we see one. They're a great living fossil. You're muted.
I just don't know how to define living fossil. But yeah, the Vampiropithecus, or Toothus, is a good one. But is it what?
So living fossils are species that are alive now that have not changed morphologically over, millions of years. They still look very much like the fossils that we find.
I thought you were talking about Steve and I.
Yeah. We don't change
Not
much.
at all, not at all.
Would you have gone back 100 meters more?
Is the mola mola a living fossil? Ocean sunfish?
Well, the mola mola is one of the bony fish, so it's not that ancient.
Yeah, but you have things like sturgeon.
Sturgeon hasn't changed.
Yeah, sturgeon is a nice example of
what's
a more
going on,
ancient
Lounge?
one.
No, he's on the intercom.
Hello?
He's on the intercom.
It's on the radio.
Yep.
We're on our way up, yeah. It's only going to take about 4 hours. Done.
We have someone saying we don't want any more questions answered. We just want more hagfish information.
More hagfish information.
I don't know.
Hagfish, let's see, you may not love hagfish, but hagfish love you. They have like 5 hearts. What else do I know about hagfish? They can produce 8 times their body mass in slime. And they like to do figure 8s when you shine the lights on them for whatever reason.
When you shine lights on them?
Well, it's when you see them with the ROV, I think it's
Okay.
it's more of a defense mechanism, I think.
Get that light off me is what I thought it was. Because don't they just kind of line up and they kind of, it's almost like they're cleaning their whatever their interesting skin that slimes.
Yeah, but you know, there are snakes that do, you know, like kind of coil up on themselves as a defensive mechanism because it's too much motion. So
it's easier to bite a thin line than it is a
figure
coil.
8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting fact. To prevent choking on its own slime, a hagfish can sneeze out of its nostril and tie its body in a knot to keep the slime from dripping onto its face.
Oh, so it is defensive.
They're also the only living organism that has a skull with no backbone.
Yeah, so they're also the only vertebrates that don't have a backbone because the skull counts as the first vertebrae. They get classified in with the vertebrates.
So from the overview biological perspective of squishy versus crunchy, these would be a squish crunch.
Squish slime. There's not much crunch.
Not much crunch.
And the skull is cartilaginous instead of bony.
So pretty much just a squish.
Mostly just a squish in the slime.
A little fluffy?
They're not very fluffy. In my classroom, we've dissected the lampreys, which are very similar. And they're kind of leathery, I guess, more. And when we're dissecting, we can actually tie them in the knots, and I do that to show my students how easy it is to like wiggle them around. And
can you tie them in a bow?
Can you throw them over your shoulder?
Depends on how long they are. I don't think they're quite long enough for a full bow.
I know this song.
Yeah, I worked with a biologist, what was his last name? Steve was his first name, out of Woods Hole. And he's the one who introduced me to just the general overview of squishy or crunchy.
Spectrum.
So another fact about hagfish, they can go months without food and they can absorb nutrients through their skin.
Ultimate survivors.
Nutrients
ultimate
in,
survivor.
slime out.
Apparently.
Well, we almost calibrated perfectly for the vertical transect. We are at a solid 10 meters a minute.
It seems to be going up.
Well, we dropped some ballast.
Oh, okay. So although they are jawless, hagfish have 2 rows of tooth-like structures made of keratin and that they use to burrow deep into carcasses. They can also bite off chunks of food. While eating carrion or live prey, they tie their tails into knots to generate torque and increase the force of their bites.
Ah, so the Not tying is not only defensive, it's also offensive. And
Yeah, to get a better bite, yeah.
I think anything with a hagfish is offensive, but other this one.
Oh, we've got a question about the crunchiness. How do you determine the crunchiness? Is it passing it through a blender or recording audio data?
I think it's more of a, you know, like
Chomp
Chewing?
on it.
yeah, or like a stomp.
If you don't like the chomping, you
Squeeze.
could do stomping.
Little poke.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on the squish crunch spectrum, but
Yeah, I heard it straight from a biology prof too, so John Dower, so I guess it's real.
yeah,
It's the official term used in, you know, all the
official things.
official things. You can't call a starfish, but you can call them crunchy.
There's a lot of crunch in starfish if you're going that way.
Yeah, I still can't figure out how seagulls digest them, but
Do they eat the whole thing or do they just kind of go around
I
the
just
skin?
always see them holding one in their mouths. They're sitting there looking at you, and they can't really fly away, so they're kind of concerned because they weigh too much now. They got a sea star in their mouth.
So I never actually seen them eat one. Maybe they just carry them around.
It's probably true. It's sort of like the same thing. You know, they want to get good traction on the ground. Yeah, I used to do a little bit of fishing, commercial fishing, and you get, well, actually this is lobster stuff. So you get back to the dock, and you get rid of the old bait. You use herring. It gets pretty slimy and old, so you're getting rid of it. And the seagulls come running down, or flying down. Cats come running down too, and so the seagulls are gorging. Cat's chasing the seagull. The seagull has to fly now, so he's like vomiting up what he ate, so he can get the right sort of weight, so he can get off the ground, because the cat's going to catch him. Quite a circus.
We have someone who says they're going to write a Wikipedia article on the squish crunch spectrum. So we're going to make this official.
It may not be Wikipedia official, but it is official.
Just to add back to the hagfish, and this is something you can use in your classroom, the third Wednesday in October is National Hagfish Day. Every third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday. Sounds like a good time to try one of the hagfish dishes.
It's
Hello.
it became a holiday, or became recognized as a special day to help bring awareness to the ugliness of different species in ocean science.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
So we have Hagfish Day. What other days do we have in that group?
Yeah.
Does it say?
Yeah, it looks like between Wednesday and Thursday it might get better, and then it doesn't.
No, I just looked
Got
up.
windy on speed dial.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh god, it's just all red.
Yeah, it's just, it's not looking good. Oh, I'll go tangle it.
Yeah, sorry to hijack the conversation. But Ollie just brought up the little question of the weather. And it looks like...
it's okay near shore, isn't it?
Well,
You got it up, and I can't find
if
mine.
near shore you're talking about Nia Bay, then yeah.
Well, no, but I'm talking about Folger Deep, just off of Folger Deep. That's a kilometer or so. On the shelf itself, doesn't it? I can't see your screen very well from here, being about as far as I could be from your screen.
I'm going to give Ollie a quick update. So we're coming up as fast as we can.
Yep.
He's got a little bit of lateral on, which is fine, and a little bit of forward way. We do have some cables which are dangling.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So this is as fast as we can come up because we're so heavy because we've got so much
You
stuff.
are,
oh, wow. Okay.
You've got that thing.
Oh, man.
You're zoomed in past this.
Yep.
So we're not touching the camera at all.
No.
And,
right?
Yep, the entire way up.
Entire way up.
Well, we can't go any faster than this, so might as well.
Might as well, yeah.
Yeah, so we were able to drop that plate, but we were not able to get over to this one.
Okay. All right.
And the bags are all pinned. However, we're pretty confident they're all pinned. There are those two that are floating there, and well, the arm's grabbing onto the.
I don't think they'll come out.
Yeah, it's like, don't move anything.
Just don't touch anything, yeah.
Oh.
That's all you had to say.
Now you can make your own decision to not touch anything.
Told you, I've done ploughing. That's the goal.
And the ground fault's there, CTD.
Okay. So we're going to, so we're running the CTD up.
Yep. And I just did gauges, so yeah, nothing to do till breakfast.
Now that we know you can make dishes out of hagfish, did viewers also know
That's the Bluetooth button, Kim?
you can make a dish called lamprey pie?
Lamprey pie? What's in lamprey pie?
Lampreys?
What's what, sorry?
And white bread.
White bread.
Lampreys and white bread?
It's an American dish.
Hmm.
Oh, never mind. It's British.
What's British?
Lamprey pie.
Lamprey pie.
Lamprey.
Lamprey pie?
Yeah, haven't you had it?
No.
It's like hagfish pie.
I haven't had that either.
What kind of Englishman are you?
No,
well, I'm an expat Englishman.
You missed out on the fork.
We spent about a half an hour talking about the hagfish and their amazingness.
Right.
Do you have any fun hagfish facts? That's really the what we're pushing for.
Did you know
the theme?
The hagfish, when mating? No. I know. I didn't even know a hagfish
It's a family
was a
show.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't find any other interesting ocean creature holidays, but today is National Relaxation Day.
Ooh.
And National,
is it?
And National Lemon Meringue Pie Day.
Put your feet up.
Love a lemon meringue pie.
National what?
Lemon meringue pie.
I mean,
Love
that would be
a
delicious.
Lemon meringue pie.
And tomorrow is National Tell a Joke Day. So everyone have a joke for tomorrow.
Okay.
Homework.
Age appropriate joke?
SPL appropriate joke.
SPL appropriate joke. That cuts my joke library down.
We have a suggestion that we should make a mousse au chocolat with foamed hagfish slime.
Oh, yeah, because it can be used as a substitute for egg white. The hagfish slime.
Really? So you could have like a hagfish omelet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about omelet, but whatever.
I'm gonna pass.
Anything you need to make frothy that you would usually use egg white for, you can use the hagfish slime for.
Boy, that just does not look good, does it? It's like a dark maroon.
The weather, yeah, that's, if you look at the scale as well, I mean, dark maroon is pretty much,
Yeah, 6
unless
meters.
it goes white. If it goes white, that's nuclear Armageddon. And this is just a little bit below.
But it's not, is that wind or waves?
This is
That's
swell.
Swell.
The wind doesn't look too bad in that
So
far inshore, like you're talking about Folger.
That's what I'm talking, yeah. So we have some things to do in there. And if there's going to be 5 days of this.
The swell is still pretty nasty.
Inside there in that blue?
Well, right
Blue
in here?
is 2 meters.
Not so much.
Yeah. So on the shelf, they're
1.4.
Yeah. So we could run CTDs, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to be like pushing our weather envelope as close to shore and in a
Does anybody have an idea of how close we're allowed to go to shore without a pilot?
12 nautical miles, isn't it? Oh, and right.
Is it 12? It's not 12, right?
I don't know. Without a pilot, I don't know. That'll be specific to Victoria.
Well, we got rid of the pilot in Victoria, right?
Yeah.
So just off of Victoria, they already didn't. Yeah, I got it.
I don't know.
So
Zooming on up.
we have a question asking if we ever attach a bait to Hercules to attract life to it.
No. We've talked about it. There's also from a, I know from talking to some biologists from like a ethical standpoint, they don't want to trap anything that was baited. Crabs they seem to be okay with, like crabs are just different, I guess.
Right.
Well, we've deployed bait traps.
Yeah.
But it's not, so they come down on Nautilus, I suppose, if we did them.
Yeah, we did a bait trap for you guys, a couple of them.
I think we were looking for tanner crabs, so it was crab at that point. None of the tanner crabs went in it.
No, I think you just got hagfish.
Yeah, it's just strictly hagfish.
I suppose when you end up with a whole bunch of hagfish, you decide not to do that experiment again.
No, I think that you just realign your goals. We were studying tanner crab.
Now we're studying hagfish.
So then we have a sediment question. So with all those sediment samples we collected, is it possible that we could discover a bacteria that's been dormant for a long time in the sediment samples?
Cause a massive global crisis.
Now's the year for it, isn't it?
I don't know. Probably. It's probably possible. I think the likelihood is really small.
Why would they be dormant?
Well, I guess dormant from our perspective of we haven't interacted with them.
Yeah, they're doing, yeah, well, there'd be thousands, hundreds of thousands of bacteria we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
All in the, yeah, we don't even know, yeah, isn't there a new, like, entire kingdom discovered recently? Or in the bacteria virus kind of mix, archaea? So there's, in the crust, there's all kinds of they're modulating. That's how you make rocks into different kind of rocks. You got little viruses and bacteria working under different, or microorganisms, I guess is the best term, working under different pressure and temperature conditions, and they're available to a whole bunch of using a whole bunch of minerals and getting these different chemical reactions and getting their energy out of that, but they're transforming all these things. So that's that serpentinization, stuff like that.
You seen, I think you have, Steve, snowblower vents?
Yeah. But
just like, open up a crack in the skin where been a drain out under the lava, and like a hole opens up and it's just vomiting chunks of white bacteria that's continuously.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, that's the whole problem when you're thinking about sinking, let's say one mitigation or adaptation process is take the CO2, somehow get it out of the air, and then right around here, have a little borehole in Cascadia Basin, and then you just pump it into the oceanic crust.
That whole idea of carbon sequestration is such a crock. Like they're gonna pump it down in the bedrock and stuff like it's gonna stay there.
Well, it changes, right? It calcifies. That the idea is it's supposed to change, but it also acidifies the whole area. So all these creatures that, you know, we may not care about right now because we don't know their ecological function. So we don't care about them now, and we don't know what the heck they're doing, and we don't know how that helps us or doesn't help us or whatever, but the planet's been built on it. We're going to kill massive amounts of them. And who knows what that, we don't know what that'll do.
Right, we don't know the repercussions of the actions.
Yeah, so we do colossal big things like pumping your extra CO2 into the oceanic crust or any crust. You don't, there's no model that's going to show you what the outcome is going to be.
Yes, there is. There's always a model that shows you what outcome they want you to see.
But they did try it, you know, so I shouldn't be talking bad about it because I'm an ONC person, and we are definitely doing some pilot projects on that pumping. And they did try it in Iceland, and they were surprised how fast. 4 years, the CO2 turned into, you know, a carbonate of some sort, rock, and it was quite successful, or at least that's what they said, what I've read. I think there's papers, peer-reviewed papers, so it must be pretty solid. So we're going to give it a go, because what else are you going to do? You're not going to stop people from burning oil. It just doesn't seem to register. But if people aren't willing to wear masks to help other people from dying, they're certainly not going to stop driving cars. So you got to figure out something to do. Anyways, that's my negative comment of the evening, and I'm going offline.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, rant alert. So, carbon capture and storage is a total boondoggle and a cash cow. So it's not going to go away. It's just wrong. Who had the foresight to mute Steve?
I can hear you.
So we have a question about the data that we've been collecting, and there's asking if there was an increase in methane release from the ocean floors, because we've been looking at those methane seeps. Do we know, have we collected enough data on the methane seeps to say whether it's increasing or decreasing?
It does tend to respond to tide.
Yeah, that's about the only thing that we've discovered is that there is some tidal influence. So the tidal.
But that makes sense, right? Because we were talking about pressures earlier.
Exactly. It's just pretty straight ahead, but at least we see it. Before it was it's semi-theoretical, right? But we do see a tidal effect now.
So during high tide, there is less methane seeping out because there's more water and more pressure? Or how does the tide affect it? I'm curious.
Marjolaine that had the cameras down, and we were looking at bubbles coming out, and the tide comes in, the bubbles stop coming, and tide goes out and starts bubbling again.
It should be an easy answer, but it's not that easy because the methane production or the gas production is also relying on pressure. So it's the closer you get to the better pressure would do it. So I don't know whether it is like with the hydrothermal vents, as the pressure goes up, that actually squeezes the rocks below it and you get less hydrothermal venting. And as the pressure goes down, you get more hydrothermal venting. And that's probably a factor in the hydrate generation as well.
So it's kind of like a breathing.
Yeah. So the
two-stage pump.
Yeah, it's out of phase because it takes the pressure goes